What's up, world? Uko here from Better Therapy. Now, Deep Work by Cal Newport. The people who have read this book love this book is because it points out a few things that help you increase focus. One is eliminating shallow work. So, what is shallow work? Shallow work is work that can be easily delegated, work that doesn't really lead to mastery, and work that you're usually doing while you're multitasking, doing a whole lot of different things. So think of things like checking your email, reviewing documents, work it doesn't require a whole lot of brain power, but shallow work is a type of work that I refer to as ankle biters because it can completely derail your day. You can spend way too much time on shallow work, which prevents the productivity of your entire day. One of the foundational arguments of deep work is that the work that you do contributes to mastery. Deep work requires a significant amount of brain power in order to do. It's hard. And he has about 4 techniques for accomplishing deep work or getting yourself in the mindset to do deep work. I like 2 of them especially. One is the bimodal approach. What that means is setting specific times during the day to do deep work, and then other times during the day to do shallow work. So you're kind of switching back and forth. You're doing a little bit of deep work, and then you're doing a little bit of the more mundane, easy tasks that take a little bit of time. I combine that with the rhythmic approach. The rhythmic approach says that you set specific times during the day, every single day, to do deep work. So I can only really concentrate really heavily, like really intensely, for about 45 minutes to an hour. So I know that after about 45 minutes, I need to switch gears a little bit. I need to either stop what I'm doing and just take a break, or I need to do something that's really easy, like check my email. Next is to embrace boredom. This is essential to deep work. You have to realize that it's going to be boring. And it's kind of a trick because it really isn't boring. It's just the thought of doing deep work is boring. If you're writing a novel, that requires deliberate work. You have to concentrate and eliminate distractions. People get, at least me, I get anxious when I think about this. I don't even use music. I don't use anything. I want it to be completely silent so that I can just focus and get into a flow state, or at least as close to a flow state as I possibly can. And the last thing about this book, and I kind of disagree with this, at least in part, is eliminating social media. Cal Newport, and really both of his more popular books, Deep Work and So Good They Can't Ignore You, he argues that you should basically quit social media. He sounds very anti-social media, and I understand why, but there's so many benefits of using social media as long as you're able to use it in ways that are healthy. The reason why deep work is important is because it pushes your cognitive abilities to their limits and then beyond. And that's essential to this idea of the will to struggle, to identify your strengths and then push those strengths to their limits and then beyond those limits. Also, the ability to focus is becoming more and more rare. I met a friend at a coffee shop a couple of days ago, and I noticed something really interesting. And I kind of suspected this just because of how often he looked at his phone. And I look at my phone all the time too. But I'm able to focus pretty well up to about an hour. And while I was there working, I didn't have any headphones on. I didn't have anything going on. I was just sitting there doing my treatment plans, doing different types of work, working on curriculum. I wasn't looking up. I wasn't doing anything but just focusing. And he kept like kind of interrupting me about different types of things. And he said, "How can you work without music?" And then I kind of noticed out of the corner of my eye that every like 2 minutes, he would just stop what he was doing and just look around the whole coffee shop. And then he would go back for a little bit, and then he would stop and look around the whole coffee shop, just over and over again. And I realized that this ability to focus and be really intentional about your time is becoming more and more scarce, which means that's becoming more and more valuable to be able to do deep work and focus. What are some examples of deep work? Writing a book or writing an article, practicing a new skill like learning the guitar or learning the piano, doing any sort of research and problem solving. Problem solving is the most valuable type of deep work because it requires so much focus and it solves a problem for people. Overall, Cal Newport is arguing that the world is changing, especially the professional world, is becoming increasingly distracted, and those who can focus are going to achieve mastery in something, whatever they're focusing on, and they're going to become much more valuable.